Ding, ding, ding. A new challenger has entered the ring, and it's Optimus Prime against Devastator. Who's going to come out on top? We're going to talk about it right here in our review of Transformers number 6 from Image Comics. See you in 3. And welcome back to Comical Opinions. This is our review of Transformers number 6 from Image Comics and Skybound. In this issue, we conclude the first arc with a titanic battle between a ragtag handful of Autobots against Devastator and the Decepticons. But before we get started, please like, share, comment, subscribe, hit that bell for notification. Your attention is greatly appreciated, and make sure you stay tuned to the end for the score. Let's talk about the credits. Transformers number 6 is written and drawn by Daniel Warren Johnson, who also does the cover, with colorist Mike Spicer. The internal page colorist is Mike Spicer, and the letters are presented, performed, completed. What do you call it? I don't know. Letters by Russ Wooten. Let's talk about what happened in the previous issue, because a lot happened very quickly, so we're going to recap very briefly before we talk about this main issue. Optimus Prime managed to get to a hospital to get Spike into some urgent care because he'd been injured by an attack from the Decepticons. While he's there getting the treatment that he needs, the Decepticons attack the hospital and all heck breaks loose. Meanwhile, Carly is off looking for her dad at home when she learns that her dad was killed in the first Decepticon attack, but she manages to partner up with Cliffjumper, and they're going to all rendezvous after the attack at the Ark, which is the main Transformers ship that crashed in the Earth however many years ago. The Transformers gather up all the resources and manage to take off towards the Ark while Spike is left at the hospital. It's a good way to kind of get all the attacks and all the damage away from the hospital. They start heading towards the Ark, figuring that the Decepticons have sort of been pushed off and sent packing briefly anyway. So in that respite, they decide to take over the Ark. But before they get right to the Ark, what do they find? The Decepticons have been busy. They managed to revive at least all the I think it's 5 of them, 5 of the Constructicons, and they have assembled themselves to form Devastator right at the opening or the entryway to the Ark. That's where we left off. Let's talk about what happens in number 6, which is the end of the arc, and I believe it's also the end of at least the art duties for Daniel Warren Johnson, who is turning them over to another artist whose name escapes me at the moment, but we'll see what happens next month. Anyway, all it is one big fight. It's the Autobots against the Decepticons, and Devastator is right there on the middle, of course, on the Decepticon side, and it's all out madness and mayhem. Guns are blazing. People are jumping on each other, punches, kicks, all kinds of blasts, all kinds of explosions, and it's all out madness and mayhem. As you can imagine, Devastator pretty much is wiping the floor with the Autobots that are still around, and it's only about a handful of them. However, in the melee and in the confusion, the Autobots managed to get at least into the entryway of the Ark and escape. But during the battle, Optimus Prime is fatally, mortally wounded. The Devastator manages to scrape on the side of the cliff and pretty much rip him to shreds. Not quite. He's still in one piece mostly, but he's banged up beyond all repair. They get inside. They put him on the table, and in a moment of nostalgia bait to the nth degree, which honestly made me smile, you get the lettering in the back where Daniel Warren Johnson says, "You know the song. You've got the touch." I'm not even going to sing it because I'm a terrible singer. Just don't ask me to sing it. But you know the song. You can hear it in your head. He's dying. The Energon device comes out of his chest, and he says, "Time to name a new leader." However, this is different. We get a twist. I'm going to spoil a little bit. If you don't like spoilers, tune out now and skip ahead a few minutes. But I'm going to spoil it now. Instead of one of the Autobots picking up the device and assuming the new leadership as would have happened in the original film with Rodimus Prime, Sparky, who is Spike's dad, says, "I've always said, if there was something that was going to happen, I could have done more. I should have done more. What could I have done?" He decides this is his moment, and in a act of self-sacrifice to save Optimus Prime, because he knows there's no better hope for protecting the Earth and protecting his son, Spike merges with the Energon source, and that act of sacrificing his life and putting his life energy into the device heals Optimus Prime and allows him to resume control as effectively the resurrected leader of the Autobots, powered by the human life force that was Sparky. And what happens? Devastator manages to smash into the Ark, at least with his arm. Optimus, now powered up and restored, rips one of his fingers off, and then he sends him on a chase where Devastator goes after Optimus Prime in a fit of rage. Meanwhile, Cliffjumper and Carly manage to sneak into the Ark from a different entrance, but they're surprised by Starscream. And in the melee and all the fight, Optimus manages to trick Devastator to fall off the side of a cliff, and in his fall, he smashes down on top of Starscream, which frees up Carly, and then it winds up separating Devastator, at least damaging it enough that they are forced to separate into the individual Constructicons. Starscream is badly damaged, and the Decepticons flee, leaving the Ark now in the control of the Autobots. Optimus is mostly restored, and the rest have lived to save another day. But, of course, we end on the tearjerker moment, which is Spike finally wakes up in the hospital bed, and his first question, which is kind of pulling on them heartstrings, where is my dad? Oh, I love this issue. I loved it a lot. I probably shouldn't love it as much as I did, and I know it's nostalgia bait. People are like, nostalgia bait, nostalgia bait. Forget that. This was great. I loved it. I loved it, and I want more of this. I want more of this. Image and Skybound, if you're listening, I want more of this. Loved it. Loved it. So, are there any interesting facts? Anything that's weird or new or strange or unusual? No. This is, well, I should say this. This pretty much follows the original cartoon from which the Transformers mythos spawned. That was not the toys itself, but the original cartoon. But there are enough of a twist and enough of a turn in individual moments and scenes that now this feels new and fresh and what have you. In the original cartoon, Sparky wasn't really much of a factor. It was all about Spike. And now this gives us a way to kind of go on a separate path. But now there's emotional depth. There are stakes. There's consequences. This feels more like a more mature, not mature in the sense that it's targeted at older people, but mature in the sense that this feels more fully fleshed out, more fully realized. And so it mirrors the cartoon in a lot of ways, but it's different enough that it doesn't feel like the same thing or a retread, which is exactly what you want for a property of this sort. So what do we love about Transformers number 6 from Image Comics? Great action, great pacing. You get heart, emotion, feels. You get all of it. And then the outcome just puts you on that cliffhanger. Not so much a cliffhanger, but you feel like the current conflict has been resolved and to be continued to fight another day. Supremely curious as to where it happens next and where this series goes. I hope they can keep up the quality in the art, but I loved everything about this issue, and it just hit all the right notes. And it's a mix of the new and a mix of the nostalgia, but done properly and put together exceptionally well. Loved it. What didn't we like about this issue? I don't think there's anything that I could find that was materially wrong or bad about this issue. There wasn't a flaw to trip over. There wasn't anything that pulled you out. And honestly, even though that one panel where Optimus Prime is charging in the battle, and you have the lettering in the background that says, "You know the song," that shouldn't work. It absolutely works. It should be a flaw. It's not a flaw. And you should say, that's cheesy. It's corny. Nope. It works. It 100% works. And there's not a flaw to be found in this comic. What about the art? Of course, this is written and drawn by Daniel Warren Johnson with colors by Mike Spicer, who we've encountered in other properties before. Looks great. Some people don't get really turned on by Daniel Warren Johnson's style, but it absolutely suits this property to a T. There's the motion is dynamic. Everything moves. It's just so fluid and so energetic in every single panel. And even the emotional beats where you're just sort of taking a still shot of one character as they feel the weight or gravity of a particular emotion, it comes through so fluidly. And it makes all the sense in the world to have a comic about vehicles that move, done by somebody who can capture movement so beautifully. Art is fantastic. Final thoughts. What do you think about Transformers number 6? Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Want more of this? If we can do this all the time, every time, this title is going to be around for a very long time. Going to make Skybound and Image a lot of money. I highly recommend this series. I highly recommend this issue. Don't skip out on this. Even if you think, Transformers, it's just toys and it's for kids. Wrong. You'd be absolutely wrong. This is what comics always should be all the time. And I'm just going to love it. Therefore, we're going to do something we rarely ever do. You got to go very far to kind of get this score, but we're going to get it. Therefore, we're going to give Transformers number 6 10 out of 10. You earned it, and you're going to get it. So therefore, 10 out of 10 for Transformers number 6. Please don't skip out on this. You're going to love it. I'm glad you stuck with me. I hope you like this review. And if you want to hear more just like this one, stay tuned through the outro.